are we all heading?
Into the next episode is my guess. I could be wrong. Hello, I'm Joel Sharpton, one half of the Articulate Coven, and you are watching my ongoing watch of the original supernatural soap opera, Dark Shadows. We are in episode 49 right now. If you're just joining us, I strongly recommend you go back a little bit. This is in the middle of a storyline here. We're about to wrap one up, I think, honestly, as we hit episode 50. I'm loving these, and I hope you're enjoying them too. If you are watching these on YouTube, you can get the next batch, episode 51, 52, 53, will all be available over on our Patreon, articulatecoven.com/join. $2 or more a month. Get you access to everything we do early and ad-free. Let's get into episode 49.
Of someone whose life has been involved with the family that lives in this great house. A fear that...
They don't live in that great house. That's the hotel, Victoria.
It reaches down from Widow's Hill and touches others.
The fear goes elsewhere. Well, hello, Maggie.
Okay, on the fire.
How is old Sam this morning?
Just fine. Why?
Just asking.
We've got some extras in the background of the restaurant this morning.
Did he quit his job and go off to Tahiti?
I doubt that.
Well, let's face it, people like Bill Malloy don't get lost.
I sure hope you're right, Maggie.
I'll put your eggs on.
Oh, we don't think he got lost. I'm so surprised that they killed him, if they killed him. As a great actor, I feel like there was a lot you could do with him. I mean, I guess you can replace that character with a different, similar character, of course. But still, feel like there was meat on the bone for old Bill Malloy.
I canceled my sitting. Other things to do.
Like looking for Bill Malloy?
Thanks for the coffee, Maggie.
Boy, in the last episode, I said Elizabeth Stoddard knows how to dismiss somebody. Burke Devlin knows how to dismiss somebody, too. You might as well have said, thank you, goodbye.
Got a customer.
Oh, hi, Joe.
Donut and coffee, Maggie.
Sure.
All right. If you do happen to just be joining us, in the last episode, a little boy told Joe Haskell here that he looked into a crystal ball and saw that his longtime girlfriend, Carolyn, was not going to marry Joe, but instead marry Burke Devlin. That man sitting at the table there. So this isn't going to go well.
Well, he's a friend of mine. Because I like the man. He's an old friend, Joe. For some reason, he's suddenly not around.
Then you do think that something might have happened to him?
Who asked you to look? Was it Roger Collins?
Hey, Carolyn.
Joe, it's important.
What is this? A big...
Well, there's 4 of our actors. I wonder if we're going to get a 5th this week. Or last week we didn't. Last episode we didn't. We got just 4.
Say, you two haven't been arguing again, have you?
Why don't you ask one of your favorite people?
Ooh, good one, Joe. I was just going to say...
Better still, why don't you go off to Bangor with him again?
Joe, you're impossible.
Oh. Stab. Joe Haskell. I love it. This foursome would make a terrible sitcom. There's our 5th. And my guess is Burke's gone to Sam's house here.
Nothing I like less is lukewarm coffee.
Sam's so excited to see him.
Hot coffee. Great. You know, Sam, you're about as talkative as
It's a damn good cup of coffee.
you were last night.
R.I.P. David Lynch.
What makes Bill Malloy so all-fired infallible? Why can't he make mistakes just like any other man?
Because if he did, he'd have walked into that office last night and said so.
So he was upset, he was embarrassed.
True story. Yeah, Bill would have owned it if something had fallen apart. But also, like, fairly clear that Bill got you to say something, Sam. So, like, that's why we know. Also, how did the show suddenly make me such a Burke fan? Like, I'm like, yeah, Burke, get him.
I want to know what happened to Bill Malloy.
I wish I knew. My mother's been terribly upset about it.
I know. She had
Oh, that was a great transition. Kudos. Good job. Good job, Dark Shadows crew.
Look, do me a favor, will you? If any customers come in, just tell them I'll be back in a little while.
As soon as my car's ready, I'm taking off.
Well, then tell them to help themselves.
What hit her?
I don't believe that's the way you run a restaurant. I could be wrong. I've never been a restaurateur.
You said you'd never marry me. You said you were going to marry Burke Devlin.
He said that.
Yeah, he looked into that little piece of glass, and that's what he said.
I just don't like the idea of a crystal ball deciding my future.
There are better ways to respond to that sort of information, Carolyn. If you want to reassure your boyfriend that you're not actually chasing after the old man that's come to town and plans to ruin your family.
I'll be seeing you again.
Where are you going?
I told you. Fishing.
Hunting's what it sounds like to me.
Remind me never to trust that mechanic. Next time he says an hour, I'll know he means tomorrow.
Why don't you try looking into a crystal ball just to make sure?
All right, Joe. All right.
I'm sorry.
Listen. I know this is like the equivalent of when your wife wakes up or your partner wakes up and nudges you and goes, "Why were you so mean in my dream last night?" You're like, "I wasn't in your dream last night, actually." It's silly, but at the same time, Carolyn is doing nothing to assuage Joe's fears here.
I'd like to prove that a certain crystal ball is wrong.
Oh, I wish I could forget about Burke in this house and hold me, Joe. Hold me tightly.
I wish I could forget about Burke. Ugh, what are you doing? You're literally you're kissing your man. You shouldn't have a problem forgetting about Burke. My guess is that's Burke.
I better see who it is. Burke, what are you doing here?
I want to see your uncle. There's plenty of room. Joe, just push aside a few cobwebs. Dig up some buried bugs. Hang your portrait on the wall, and you're a member of the clan.
What are you after, Devlin?
I mean, that's sort of what you want to do, isn't it, Burke? Oh, that was a telling transition, wasn't it? Oh, my. Poor Bill Malloy.
But Burke seemed to think that Roger Collins had asked Joe Haskell to look for Bill Malloy.
No, Burke was inquiring as to if Roger Collins was the one that had said go look for Bill Malloy. Burke thinks somebody doesn't need to look for Bill Malloy because they know where he went. My money is a little bit more on Sam right now, but that's just because we haven't seen Roger lying on screen recently.
I brought you up to be a sensitive, intelligent, inquisitive young lady. But there's a limit to how far you should go with your inquisitiveness.
Yes, but does his disappearance have anything at all to do with Burke or Roger Collins?
Maggie, I'm tired of all these questions. Now, please, go back to work and just leave me do mine.
BT Dub. Sam 2.0 what? Old Sam who? Yeah, David Ford totally won me over at this point, by the way. This storyline's been very good for him.
Where are we all heading?
Into the next episode is my guess. I could be wrong.
Towards death, Maggie, darling. We're all headed towards death.
Nope. I was right. Good stinger, though, too. Reds and greens with just an accent of yellow. Excellent episode. Excellent episode. Oh, I also like that they actually got the new painting up there, too. That's cool. All right. Here we go. Another weekend episode. in our next one. Episode 50 is coming straight up. If you're watching these on YouTube, don't forget that you can get the next batch, 51, 52, 53, on our Patreon right now, articulatecoven.com/join. $2 or more a month gets you access to everything we do early and ad-free. I'll be right back in just a minute with episode 50.